Hi there, Shane Cradock here again, and welcome back to the third video of the 5-video series around the 5 mind principles. So at this stage we've done 2 of the key principles, the first one being the projector principle and the second one being the missile principle. There's a couple of things that are going to link into this principle as well with regards to the missile. I would say one of the key habits that I've seen for myself and my clients work really well is to every day have, I suppose, certain routines that you do to kind of prime the missile. And as you think about it, the missile is, you always move towards what you're focused on. So what are you focused on? And a great way to kind of, I suppose, focus yourself every day is to say, what are the top 3 outcomes that I want to happen today? That's one thing. Write them down and then to visualize them as done in your mind before the day starts. That's the first thing. Second thing is to visualize your day going exactly the way that you'd like it to go. That's amazing for what it can do to your mind in terms of just focusing yourself in the right way. And the third thing then would be to actually focus on maybe one of your bigger picture goals and to spend time actually pretending in your mind as if it's already done, experiencing it as already done. It's a great way for long-term motivation. And it also links in a little bit into this principle, the third principle called the iceberg principle. So if you think about an iceberg, if you're on the Titanic, you'd know all about it. So what caused the problem for the Titanic? Was it the tip of the iceberg or the mass? In actual fact, the tip just shows you that it's there. The mass of the iceberg, as you'll see by this drawing, is actually primarily underneath the waterline. So what you have here, let's say, is this is the tip of the iceberg, this is the waterline, and this is the mass, the real mass of the iceberg. When it comes to your mind, it's very similar. 5% of your mind is conscious, and about 95% or so is going to be unconscious. So what does that actually mean? Okay, well, at the moment, your mind is listening to me speaking, and it's probably agreeing with some things, maybe disagreeing with other things, and maybe analyzing other things or questioning. That's your conscious mind. You're consciously asking yourself different things. But the unconscious mind is the bit that really is kind of beneath the waterline, that is influencing a huge amount of stuff going on for you, whether in terms of, like, for example, your self-belief, your understanding around certain key issues, your confidence, your clarity on certain things, and just your level of understanding of life. But also it's going to be cultural influences. If you're born in Ireland versus America versus Israel, say, for example, you will have different cultural influences that are largely now unconscious. But these things are playing out all the time, and they create filters into your projector, and they also create issues as well around your missile, because all of a sudden things will be thrown up from the unconscious to the conscious. So for everything you're going to be asked to do of yourself or in your career in life, on a conscious level, I might say, well, I'm going to do X project, and I look at it consciously and I say, okay, I'm going to do that. But if my unconscious mind isn't lined up and agreeing with that, there's going to be a problem. So I actually might say, yes, I want to get it done up here, but if it flips in here to one of my beliefs, which may be low and lacking in self-belief, my unconscious mind might say, actually, that's not going to happen, Shane. So no matter how much effort I put into it, I'm actually mentally going to be sabotaging myself. So how do you change that? Because that's a big deal. Well, I suppose here's the question. If I said to you, what's 5 times 5? I'm sure you probably know the answer. The answer is 25. Alan, we asked this before. Yes, we're on the right track. Okay, so well, we hope it's 25. How do we learn that though? Well, I learned it in a school in Kilkenny in Ireland by repetition. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10. I didn't just learn it like that, unfortunately. It took a lot of repetition. That's what this R signifies, is repetition. Think about maybe learning how to ride a bicycle. At the start, I get on, it's a little bit wobbly, maybe I fall, but after a while of repetition and practice, making mistakes, the missile principle, it becomes a habit from the conscious level, moves into the unconscious level. I don't have to think about it. Same thing with driving a car. At the start, it's very jiggery-pokery, moving around, not exactly fluid. But after a while of practicing the habits through repetition, it becomes unconscious, and now I can actually drive 100 miles without actually thinking about what I'm actually consciously doing. That's the power of your unconscious mind. But here's the thing. I mentioned at the start of this video some habits, some things to do. For example, the visualization every morning, writing out 3 specific outcomes, and then visualizing your bigger picture goals. On a conscious level, you could be saying right now, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, I've heard that before, and I'm going to do it. And on a conscious level, that might make sense. But at the unconscious level, you may not actually believe that you're going to do that. How do you build it in? Well, if you know that this is the structure of how you build a habit in, I guarantee you, if you take those habits, which will make a difference, and force yourself through repetition, like 5 times 1, to every day say, I'm actually going to do this habit every day, because anywhere from 21 to probably 60 days, you will build a habit in. And they're the kind of habits that you want to stay in for a lifetime. But most people actually will stop after about 5 or 6 days. You need to actually allow yourself to kind of go through the routine of actually building certain habits, like the one I've mentioned with the missile in the morning, to build those in. Now, this is just one example of how you can use the iceberg principle, but essentially what it means is that your unconscious mind is the home of your habits. and your habits determine your actions, and your actions determines your results, which ultimately is your quality of life or career. So what are the habits you want to build? I've named 3 for you in this video, and I challenge you to kind of say, okay, I'm going to execute on those 3 consistently until they become habits, and they become habits through repetition. And that's how you build, I suppose, those internal resources that ultimately will make a difference to you. Okay, so that's the 3rd principle. The next video is going to be about a key principle around enjoying your life, and I suppose even a really, really key way to enhance your performance at the same time. I won't tell you what it is, but I'll see you on the other side, and I'll tell you then. Thank you.